Alright, so about a couple weeks ago I posted a video on prejudice towards Asians, why I hate Asians. So there's a few things I wanted to talk about. That video received a lot of views. The video reactions were really negative. I got a lot of hate messages for the video. The purpose of the video wasn't to specifically call out any specific ethnic group like that. I was trying to make a point, and the point was I disliked. Never did I ever say I hate any specific group, ethnic group, anybody. It was my dislike for them, alright? And the point basically was I disliked them. So I started naming. It was more of an example, you know. I think I said something about I disliked Chinese, I said Vietnamese, Korean, and that obviously pissed some people off, alright? But in no way, shape, or form was I trying to offend or piss anybody off with that video. You know, I made that video as a step. It was more of a stepping stone for me, you know. I was doing something I would probably never have ever thought of doing before, you know. And most people didn't know this about me, alright. I've told a few select individuals, but for me to kind of expose myself to make this video, it was really difficult, really challenging. I was actually really nervous making that video, and you know, I was shocked by the response that I got from it, because, you know, it was like most people just clicked on the video because of the title. You know, the title was very negative, alright? And I've noticed that, you know, with negative titles, people are going to click on it, as opposed to something that if it was positive, I probably would have gotten all the views that I've got. This goes out to all the haters out there. All the people who were sending me the hateful messages on my video. Alright? You're part of the problem. You're the reason I dislike Asians in the first place. Alright? You're the one sending me hate messages, saying this, saying that. Guess what? That doesn't help me. You make it worse. A lot of it was just a lot of hate messages. Some of it was attacking my personal parents, but it had nothing to do with the video, so I thought that was pretty lame. And however, there was some good from the video, you know. So there were some people who did message me, kind of, you know, they sympathized. Some of them actually been through the similar situation I've been through, and, you know, some of them kind of, you know, basically said that it's a good thing that, you know, you stated how you felt, alright, you gave reason, and you're trying to change it, so that's always a good thing, very positive thing. And that was the point of the video, was it wasn't supposed to be anything negative. That wasn't my intent for the video, was to make a hate video on anything or anybody, alright. It was just kind of explaining my point of view and my experiences and how I wanted to change, alright? That was the point of the video. So in the end, I decided to disable the ratings for the video, because I was getting a lot of negative, you know, a lot of thumbs down for the video, a lot of negativity, and that's not what the video was about. The other reason I wanted to make the video was for anybody who was in that situation, or has ever been in that situation, or is currently in that situation. I wanted to let them know that they are not alone. Throughout this semester, I'm going to be making video updates and just kind of tell you where I'm at in this class, in this Asian American Studies class that I've decided to take. You know, where I'm at, where I was at, where I'm at now, and where I will be in a few months when this class ends. It's been about 3 weeks now, 3-4 weeks that I've been in this class. I've learned so much. So we just learned about the early Chinese, sort of how they came to America, how they immigrated to America from China, and all their struggles and everything that they had to face, you know, trying to make a better life for themselves. I didn't realize some of the things that they went through was really bad. You know, so when the first Chinese came to America, they got into mining, basically. That was one of their first jobs that they did, was mining, railroads, stuff like that. And eventually it turned into, they started, you know, owning their own shops, businesses, so it kind of progressed on to better things. And one of the other jobs that they decided to do, the Chinese did, was laundry. One of the reasons that they did this is, one, it's cheap. Two, because you didn't need to learn a lot of English, so because a lot of the Chinese didn't know English. And how they learned these new skills was they learned it from being here in America. You know, that's how they were taught how to do laundry and whatnot. And you know, the Chinese men came here. They left everything that they had, or everything that they knew in China. You know, their wives, their kids. They came, you know, to a foreign country that they've never been to. You know, and that's really difficult. You know, going from being in your comfort zone to be taken out of that, to go travel to a foreign land that you've never been to, so you don't know what to expect. You know, and that can be really, really scary. Alright, so eventually, you know, the white workers got upset at the Chinese because that they felt that they were taking jobs away from, you know, the white workers, because, you know, the Chinese would come in and say, look, if you hire me, I'll work for you for $30 a month. The white workers who have been there years and years and years, they were getting paid $50 a month to do the same job. So naturally, you're gonna take the best offer. Alright? So a lot of Chinese got hired during that time. They were looking for work, you know, doing what they gotta do to survive. And, you know, again, like I said, a lot of the white workers, they were very unhappy about this. And eventually, this one white person killed this Chinese person. And so it became a case. So eventually the case got dropped. And the reason why it got dropped was because two witnesses for the case were two Chinese people. Alright, so that kind of hurt. It really did hurt the case at that time, right? Because at that time they felt Chinese people weren't credible. Basically, they felt that they weren't credible enough as a source, you know. So you can take that as you will. You can take that as racism, prejudice, stereotyping, whatever, because there was a lot of this stuff going on. A lot of racism, just a lot of really bad things that were going on. And the Chinese, they were even given, you know, they were being taxed as well, you know, which was really unfair. And eventually this led into an act where they set in place where they stopped the Chinese from coming here to America. Well, they limited how many Chinese could come to America. If you were a teacher, you know, a student, then they would let you in, obviously, and they would card the Chinese, you know, because some of them were illegal immigrants, and they would lie and say that they were legal. So that caused some controversy. Learning about the early Chinese is really, really interesting. Just everything, you know. If you've never taken an Asian American class, I would highly suggest it. If you want to learn more about the culture, you know, the people, you don't have to be Chinese. You don't have to be Asian to be taking the class. And one thing I do want to mention is we learned about the Vincent Chin case. Alright, so I wanted to talk about the Vincent Chin case really quickly. For those of you who don't know who he was and what happened. This happened back in 1982. Alright, it happened in the Midwest, I believe in Detroit. Him and a couple of his friends went out to this strip club, and there's two white men there. They had just been laid off. They worked in the automobile industry. Alright, so they saw Vincent, and one of the men had said, "It's because of you MFs we're out of work." Alright, this pissed him off. This pissed Vincent Chin off. It led into a big old fight. They got kicked out of the club, and eventually he died. Alright, what had happened was Vincent Chin was held by one man, while the other man got a bat out and started hitting him in the head. Alright, and this eventually killed him, and the men didn't serve any jail time because the judge had claimed that both men, they were good men. They didn't have a previous record. They weren't criminals. That's why they were kind of let off a little easy. This pissed off a lot of Asian Americans, and it received a lot of headlines in the media because of it. They did another trial for it. They tried to get him for, they tried to do it as a civil rights issue, being the fact that he was white and Vincent was Chinese. They tried to do something. They tried to get him for that. Obviously, it didn't work, and they were found not guilty, even though they admitted to the crime. It really blows my mind that this happened, and this, I'm not talking about 50 or 60 years ago. This happened recently, 29 years ago. This was 6 years before I was born, 1982. But it's still really recent, and it's really sad that that this happened, and the men, they didn't serve any jail time for a crime that they committed to, that they admitted that they committed to. Vincent Chin's mom obviously was not happy about this. She felt that, the justice system did her wrong, justice wasn't served, and eventually she left the country. Eventually she said that she just couldn't take living here in America because her son was killed here, and every day living here, she'd be reminded of that. It's really sad. It's really sad that we live in a society today where this still goes on. It's ridiculous. It's 2011, So yeah, we need to do better as individuals, as people. Come together, just stop all this hate, all this violence. It's ridiculous. Okay, so this video was just kind of just give you an update, a quick update, what I'm learning in the class, and how I'm doing in the class. I'm doing really well in the class. About a week and a half ago, we took a reading quiz, and I scored a 23 out of 25 on it. So I missed 2. I had the highest grade in the class, so I'm doing really well in the class. I'm learning a lot, and I'm taking a lot away from this. I respect the Chinese a lot now, more than ever. Alright, and we're going to be learning about the Japanese people next, about the Japanese, and then the Japanese anti-movement. So I'm really anxious, really excited to learn about the Japanese. And in October we'll be learning about the Filipinos. So I'm really excited to learn about the Japanese and the Filipinos. What I want to do is keep you guys up to date on where I'm at, basically. Alright, And before I go, I want to suggest 2 books that I think you guys should really check out if you're interested in learning more about Asians, Asian culture, Asian Americans in general. These 2 books right now I'm currently using from an Asian American Studies class. This one right here is called Asian Americans, and it's by Joanne Lee. Right. This book right here is it's a really good book. It's actually, I've used it a few times already, and it gives you their stories, where they you know, how they what they experience, and it's really interesting. It's really informative, great. I read 5 stories already about the Chinese, because that's what we were learning about, and all 5 of the stories were completely different from one another. It was, you know, it was shocking how different each one of the stories was. One of them was about this person who was from China, and they immigrated to America to start a better life, and you know how difficult that was, not knowing English very well. So I thought that was really crazy. That was an interesting story. And there was another one about this one Chinese girl. She was born in America. She's Chinese American. She was born here, and you know, she was only allowed to date other Chinese. That's what her parents wanted. And eventually, she ended up with this this white American guy. He's German American. And her father was not happy about this. He eventually what had happened was that they quit speaking for 6 months, and it wasn't until a few days before her wedding that they reconciled with one another, and it was just crazy. And the second one I think you guys should check out is called "It's a History of Asian Americans." Right here. It's called Strangers from a Different Shore. This book right here is it gives you more details, more information, more history about, you know, the Asian Americans of all different ethnic groups. So it doesn't cater to one specific one, which is a really good thing. I haven't really read too much in this book because the chapters are really long, and but it is a really interesting read if you're really interested in learning more detailed information and accounts on basically how the Asian Americans came to America. So I suggest this book. But if you were gonna get one of the 2, I really suggest this one right here. This book, because it's one of my favorites right now. They're not real expensive, so check them out. If you can get them used, do that. You know, you'll learn something great. They're great reads. This is coming from someone who hates reading. So hopefully you guys enjoyed my video and learned something. And I'm going to keep you guys up to date on my progress, where I'm at. Got more videos coming for this semester, and I guess I'll talk to you guys later, alright? Bye.